What's going on, guys? Welcome to your fourth Unity tutorial, again with me, Travis, and I just want to start off by saying thank you for subscribing. I definitely appreciate it. Obviously it supports us, so thank you for doing that. And in today's tutorial, we're actually going to get into the game development aspect of Unity, and you're probably saying, it's about time, man. We had to do all that boring setup stuff. Well, it's going to be fun. We're going to add some physics to our player object, or our ball, as of right now, and get our basic Temple Run 2D type scroller set up. It's not going to be exactly like Temple Run. Hopefully we'll get to there. But as for now, we're just going to get the 2D version kind of set up. So, first thing that we need to do is add a platform for a ball to land on and interact with, use gravity and physics and all that stuff. So let's go to game objects and hit create other, and we're going to use a cube, and we're just going to move the cube down here. And the first thing that we might want to check is from our bird's eye view. So I'm going to click on the y-axis up here, and it's going to bring us to perspective there, but the y-axis, so it's going to bring us to our top view. As you can see, yes, our ball will fall and it will land on our platform, but sometimes if you guys are new to 3D graphics, our platform might be off. So again, this is bird's eye view, so if our ball falls into the screen, it will not land on our platform, even though in our game view it looks like it should. It'll just fall right behind this cube. Getting started, you might want to double check different views within the 3D model or the graphic engine itself. So what we need to do now is replace this square. Again, we can just drag this back, or we can go into our inspector and type 0 for z-axis, because again, our ball is at the position 0, 0, 0, and this will be guaranteed that our ball lands on our platform, as long as there's not a whole lot of wind or anything like that. Alright, so let's go back into our front view here, and the next thing that we want to do is we want to stretch out our ground object, or this cube, so obviously it has a bigger ground or a bigger area for a ball to interact with. We could create a bunch of cube objects, place them together, and make a platform that way, but that would really hinder the performance of our game, which is terrible. And what we actually want is less polygons, so we can do that by stretching out our square. And you can stretch objects by selecting them, so make sure your cube is selected, and just hit R on your keyboard, and it will change your axes to these kind of handles that you can grab in the X direction and stretch your object, or again, Y direction, you can scale your object one way or the other. We're just going to blow up our platform in the X axis a little bit. So, just pull it out and zoom out using the scroll wheel on your mouse. There we go. So again, we might want to double check. Yep, top view looks pretty good. So what's going to happen is our ball is just going to go off into the right direction. So everything from about right here left is not being used. So we might want to move our platform over to the right. And you did know how to do that with those axes, but now that they turned into these handles, you're like, okay, how do we switch back, because now I'm just scaling the object. To do that, it's just easy as hitting W on your keyboard, and it switches your handles back into these axis points here, which moves the orientation of your object. So again, R is scalable, W back to moving your position. But if you don't like shortcuts, you like doing things the long, tedious way, you can go up here, and here is your handle object, or making it scalable, and here is your actual movement of the object. Alright, but again, W and R. Alright, so now that we have that set up, let's just test out our game by hitting this run button, and nothing's happening because our player is a beautiful object, as you can see here, a beautiful sphere. But like in life, or at least with women, a lot of the really beautiful ones don't have the brain yet. So what we want to do is we want to add some functionality to our ball, making it have some brains, working with gravity, physics, working with the game itself. And it's pretty simple in Unity to do that. Before we actually add that, I want to specify on something, because right now our game is running, and sometimes I do this myself. I'm developing a game, and while it's running, you might want to move things around, or you might want to like stretch your object, something like that. And you make all these adjustments, you work on it for hours, and you're like, oh wait, my game was running, you hit the play button again to stop your game, and what's going to happen is all those changes are going to be erased. They're going to go back to where it was when you first hit the play button. So make sure when you're making adjustments that you want to keep in your game, and definitely you are not running the game. So as you can see, when I release here, it goes back to what it was originally. So that's just kind of a cautionary note that you guys might want to take into consideration. Alright, so now what we need to do is we need to add some physics to our ball, which is pretty simple. We're going to go up to the component tab, and there's a physics built into Unity. Again, the beauty of Unity is all the built-in features. And we're just going to go to Rigidbody here, click on that bad boy, and over here in the inspector, as you have your player object or sphere selected, we have this new tab called Rigidbody, and it has a mass, a drag, angular drag. We'll get into some of this stuff later, but the most important one for now is it uses gravity. We can either uncheck this or check it. We're going to leave it checked, so let's just run it now and see what happens. Oh, pretty awesome. Our ball is working with gravity. It's pretty much like Isaac Newton came in and he's like, oh no, ball, you gotta listen to gravity, even in the game world. So obviously if you didn't want to have gravity, you could uncheck that, but we're going to leave that checked. And again, our game is running now, so we can make adjustments. I'm going to hit the W and just bring our ball, and we can kind of see how it works. Like again, these won't be saved, any of these movements I'm making, but you can test out how the gravity looks. That's kind of cool. I mean, pretty awesome. But that's pretty much it for this tutorial, guys. Again, Rigidbody kind of adds some of the basic gravity functions, making our ball kind of have a mass and be able to interact with other objects, use gravity. So that's pretty much it for this tutorial. We'll get into some programming maybe in the next tutorial to make our ball move left and right or something like that. Maybe have a jump button. But again, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next tutorial.